G'day guys, we've got a function here that we're going to try and differentiate. Now, what we're going to have to do to differentiate this function is we're going to have to make use of the product rule because of the nature of the way the function is structured. Now, what we're going to do first is I'm going to explain what the product rule is and how we identify what problems we have to use the product rule for, and then we're going to go about using the product rule on this specific example. Okay, so let's explain what it is. So let's write down here, we have the product rule. Now, the product rule is if we have a function, let's say y, and it's two functions multiplied together. So we have f of x times g of x. Now, the product rule says that its derivative, or dy dx, is going to be the derivative of one of the functions. So we'll have df dx multiplied by the other function, just g of x, and we add that to the derivative of the other function, so it'll be dg dx times by the other function being left constant. So what we do is we get the derivative of one multiplied by the other, then we add the derivative of the other one multiplied by the initial one left constant. Sometimes this is also written as dy dx is equal to u prime v plus v prime u. So those are two different ways that we can use it. And the way that we identify that as the product rule is we have two functions which are the product of each other. So they're being multiplied together. So the product rule is all about two functions being multiplied together. Similarly, the quotient rule would be two numbers divided by each other. Okay, so how are we going to do this question here? So coming to our definition that we've just described on the right-hand side, we have two functions in the brackets. Let's call this one u. Let's call this one v. Now, if we look at the second way that we've written it here, we get the derivative of u, multiply it by v, then get the derivative of v, and then multiply it by u, and then add those two things together. So, let's try and do that. So, we've got f prime of x will be equal to the derivative of u. Now, we'll take the 4 down, multiply by the 2, is going to be 8 x to the 3. The derivative of negative 3 is just 0, so it's just that. Multiplied by v, left constant, x squared plus 1. Then we add that to the derivative of v, which is just, we get the 2 and we multiply it down, we get 2x, and because the derivative of 1 is just 0, and then we multiply it by u being constant, 2x to the 4 minus 3. Now, we could leave it like that if we really felt like it, but we could also simplify this a little bit. So if we had to do any other things with this problem, so we've got f prime of x, we're going to multiply out the brackets, 8x to the 5 plus 8x to the 3, add 4x to the 5 minus 6x. Now the way I did that, guys, is I went this times that, like I used the distributive law, this times that, and then this times that, and then this times that. So this is what we've got here. We can then combine our like terms. For example, we have a 8x to the 5 plus 4x to the 5. So we can initially write, well, we're going to write the derivative is equal to 8 plus 4 is 12x to the 5. Then we've got plus 8x to the 3 minus 6x. because there are no more like terms. So you can see here that this is our final derivative in its simplified form. What we could do is, in an exam, sometimes they'll just say differentiate this. They won't ask for any, there won't be any subsequent questions, so it'll just be differentiate this. If it just says that, you will leave it, you'll leave your answer here. It's not worth your time of day going through all these steps to get to there. However, if this is just part one, like part A of an A, B, C, D, E, F question, it's probably in your best interest to simplify it down to make life easier for yourself moving forward. So let's just recap what the product rule is, guys. The product rule is when we have a function that is described as two subsequent functions multiplying together. So it is a function which is described as the product of two smaller functions or two constituent functions. In this case, we had f of x and g of x, or u and v. Now, so what the product rule states is if we have two functions multiplied together, the derivative of this will be the first function, take the derivative of it, multiply it by the second function left constant, and then add it to the second function's derivative multiplied by the first function left constant. And that will give you the derivative. It will give you this usually, because this is quite a simple example, but sometimes it will give you a very, very, very long-winded derivative. The product rule is good for giving you massive derivatives, which will normally need to be simplified in the real world. But guys, I hope this video has helped. That was the product rule explained. If you need any further explanation, don't hesitate to write a question in the comment section below and subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos all the time describing maths, physics, chemistry, and so forth and so forth and so forth. I also chuck the occasional skateboarding video in for good measure. So, just do my channel a favor and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.